Okay, we're live. It's 12:30. Let's go find Matt here. Let's get him in. Hi, John. Hello, Bulldog Lawn Services.
Hey, hey.
Tap House. There he is, Matt from Water and Earth Landscape Design. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me. I just finished watching it. It was really awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just neat to see how you guys cut that up and made it, a casual conversation look very shiny.
Yeah, that was just, that was literally a little bit less than half of the whole conversation because we were going for a while there.
Yeah, no, everything looks great. It's really cool. Really cool.
Awesome. How are you doing? What part of the country are you in now?
So currently sitting in Richmond, Virginia, working on some Richmond projects as well as some Northern California projects.
All right. So I'll just jump into the questions here. We got quite a few. I picked a couple that came up a few times. We got these either through DMs on Hardscaper or DMs at Techo. And also came in through some chats. So one of them was why do you do business in Virginia and California? Like, how did that happen, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the short of it is, I started my career in Richmond, Virginia, where I went to college and worked here for several years. And then my partner, she had an opportunity out in Silicon Valley to go chase for 6 months. So that company brought her out there, and I was burned out on Richmond and wanted to get out. And so it was just going to be a kind of flying by the seat of my pants kind of situation, tell everybody in Richmond that I'm going to be gone for a little bit. And my job opportunity fell through to come back to. So we decided to stay, and it just kind of exploded into this really awesome situation. And then we had some family stuff come up, and we had to, come back east for a while. And then COVID started. So the plan was to move back and forth between the two places. I do have an apartment in Northern California that I haven't been to in a while, but it's basically just running it from both sides. We take a lot less Virginia projects. We do, the projects in Virginia are very sizable projects, sizable budgets. And then the Northern California is our deeper involvement.
Okay, cool. And by the way, if anyone has any other questions, just feel free to send them in right now, and we'll try to get to them too. I'll get to a second question here. So because you're not on-site building them, the question is how many designs done versus projects done. So I'm assuming what they mean here is, you design a lot of projects, you sell all those designs, and then how many get built, and do you sell all those builds too? Like, how's it work?
Yeah, so we have a pretty surprising kind of closing rate. Even though we're not selling the construction, we're taking 4 to 5 design clients per month. And then because we're sticking through those projects with our clients through design and then through contractor vetting and then through the build, pretty much all of them go to construction. It's just a matter of when they're going to happen. Earlier on, we were meeting contractors and learning that game. But now that we have a solid group of contractors that we refer work to, we have this really seamless, concoction of a process where the contractors are aware of what's happening before they actually see the designs, and that the clients are done, sick of talking to us and they want to jump into construction. So it's a lot.
Okay, and do you go on site a lot?
So obviously, since I'm sitting in Richmond and the majority of our work's happening in California, I've got 2 designers that work for me full time. So they're local to the Bay Area. So I'm running things remotely 3 hours ahead, and they're able to go jump on the, uh-ohs immediately. And then I'm currently working on building that team here in Virginia. And then once COVID kind of goes away, or lessons, I'm going to start moving back and forth, 2 months on, 2 months off, back and forth, and have two spots. Cool.
I'm seeing a bunch of questions about design software. So they're asking, what design software do you use?
Yeah, so this question comes up a lot, and it's understandable. Everybody wants to be putting out the nicest stuff and follow the trends of the industry. We're modeling in SketchUp, and then we're rendering in Lumion, which is the big one these days. taking, not really designing, designing 2D, modeling in 3D, and then bringing that into a post-rendering process. And then depending on the needs of the project, maybe even taking those Lumion renderings and bringing them into a photo editing software. But you got to be careful because you don't want these projects to look too realistic. You never want your design to look more realistic than the finished product. So you got to kind of keep it computery. I think a lot of guys try to have this super polished, finished look. And hey, it looks great on Instagram all day long. But if the project's down and the client's like, well, why doesn't it look like the rendering? You're going to run into problems. So
yeah, that's where samples become important too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't sell just off the pictures. By the way, on that topic of design software, since like it's all these questions about design software, on the TechnoBlock website, there's this page called Designer's Toolbox, and we've updated a bunch of the different files, including for SketchUp. And basically, by the end of this month, all the different softwares will have files uploaded, ready for download on technoblock.com. Just go to Designer's Toolbox. And we'll be sending an email out to everyone who's on the TechnoBlock mailing list. We'll get that notification too, but you'll have it all on there.
Awesome. We already actually started. We found everything in SketchUp that you guys did, the recent stuff. I saved all.
Exactly. If you went to the warehouse, you already have.
Yeah, we're using it regularly.
Cool. All right. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, it's not really a question, more of a statement, a little bit of praise. I just really want to thank you guys, one, for making me a part of this, and two, right now with technology and this rush of business, I just really appreciate, a company, an organization that is one, introducing forward-thinking products to the market. That's obviously huge, and why we're all here in the first place. And two, with this whole Hardscaper thing, even though it's still materializing into what it's going to be, that you're taking the industry, a wider approach from the industry and bottling it up and giving it back to everybody free of charge, because there's a lot of people in the space right now, these influencers and all these guys that are bottling it up and making people pay for it. And the fact that you guys are at the top of every list of cool things, and you are able to structure a situation where people that want to learn but may not have the means to pay an influencer, it's really humbling to know that a company like yours, as big as it is able to focus on the little guy, because there's not many folks doing that in any industry.
Thank you very much. That means a lot, because that's really what we've been trying to do is help the industry. Look, I'm gonna put it this way. Without guys like you and everyone who's watching and liking this session right now, we don't have a business. Like, our business depends on people like you. So we owe it to you to support you and bring education and tools and everything to make your life easier, because it's hard enough designing and building jobs. So if we can help you, that'll come back. Like, just, we believe, do the right thing for the people that you work with, and everything else works out in the end.
Yeah, but
I really appreciate that feedback. That's it's been a very long year, so I hear you. I really appreciate that.
Sure thing.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Matt, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna switch over to Dan now. All right.
Sounds good. See ya.
Okay. Thanks a lot, man.
Bye.
See ya. All right. So we're going to go find Dan here. Just give me a second, everyone. v.dan.wasson. I love saying his handle like that. There he is.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? What are you in a Best Buy back there? What's going on?
No, this is our the room where all the crews go out of it. We have two big flat screens up here that we put like work orders on, and they can view job hours and stuff. It's my kind of like the war room. Nice. Our big calendar here, so this is where all the crew comes in and gets their orders. But we like to hang out here in front of these monitors too. Makes me look cool, I've got these big monitors, so maybe adds to my street credit. I don't know.
There you go. All right, let's jump into the questions here. First one, your house is the one with the diamond and I think it's Blue Grande or Para
Para. Yep.
Para, yeah, and the double fire pit. And the question was the two thicknesses. So diamond's 100 millimeters or 4 inches thick, and para is 2 3/8 or 60 millimeters. And the question is, did those move differently? I know you just got a huge dumping of snow, so I don't know if you've been able to clear the snow off of there yet.
No.
Are those two thicknesses behaving differently on a big pavement like that?
No, and they don't. Because the base is all the same. We're still using the open graded base on each section, and it is kind of a pain in the butt to install because of the different thicknesses. You have to get your grades different for those. But no, they don't really move that much. I would say though, all pavers will move slightly in freeze and thaw conditions, like in Indiana, and we use that as that's a huge selling point too, because your patio is flexible. It bends, it flexes with weather, and it's 100% repairable at any time. And that's a huge selling point we use. But as far as the diamond has not moved, nor the para has moved. I mean, the para is what, 120 pounds for that slab. Yeah. I mean, it's not going anywhere. And the way the diamond interlocks and the thickness of it, it's still, even though it's a small piece, it's still pretty heavy. Yeah. So no, I would say the only thing that with that design is it was very time consuming to install because of the different thicknesses. Because of
the intricacy too, right?
Yeah.
You were weaving, you weren't just cutting things, you were kind of butting the two styles together.
It weaves through together. Yeah, it was intricate and it was hard to do, but no, it hasn't moved hardly at all.
A lot of people showing love in the comments for that job. That's not so much.
Thank you.
Let me ask you on the same topic though. You say you built out an open graded base. How long ago did you make that switch, and do you do that all the time now?
Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years ago we started switching to that, and because we used to do a lot of on a dusty it's called Dusty 11. We used to use that, and it collected too much moisture. And as the community started and the trend started going to that open graded base, letting the water through, and it was a better move. I think our patios are better. I think our the jointing sand is better with it. We can get more moisture out. So
nice. By the way, I realize I'm talking to you and I'm holding my Jurassic Park mug.
Oh, my little boy, man, he loves Jurassic Park. Yeah, you sent him that dinosaur.
Spinosaurus.
Oh man, he loved that. Now be careful, he's getting older, so he's gonna want something else, probably bigger and more expensive. So make sure that's in the budget.
Okay, I'm taking dinosaur toy orders.
Yeah.
Okay, this question was with reference to the podcast. You were on the Hardscape Growth podcast that people can check out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on hardscaper.com. And you talked about the efficiency of two-man crews and target hours. Question is, how do you figure out target hours when your designs are so elaborate?
That's a good question. Wow. Okay, so two-man crews are my favorite. We try to use two-man crews on about everything we do. On the large jobs that are very intricate, I think the big key to the two-man crews and just hitting target hours is we separate like your drive time and your load time from actual production on-site time. So I think that's the biggest key I would tell anyone who thought of that or asked that question is you got to know your on-site time versus your travel and load time, because then once you know the on-site time, you can break it down into how many days you'll be there. And we factor on like a two-man crew. They're working 10-hour days, so they're working 20 hours. And before we start the job, of course, we have a bunch of meetings. We figure out, all right, how many hours is this job going to take us of on-site time? And then from there, we backward engineer, the math and the daytime, the days that will be on that job. And we have some benchmarks we like to use. Like an easy patio for us is 6 square foot per man hour installed. Something very intricate is going to be down to like 4 or 3. And those are just benchmarks that we use to help us get there. But there's a lot of gut feeling on, on a patio if it's hard to access or if it's other factors can play into that. So that was kind of a long answer, but
yeah. Well, I mean, but I think the key is you have enough historical data. And that's the big thing that people underestimate, is to know how long it'll take in the future, you need to know how long it took before. If you're not tracking that, then you can't predict it. You're just taking a wild guess.
And we separate on our quotes. We use LMN. We separate everything we can. Your patio is separate from your fire pit, which is separate from your kitchen. So we break down hours for each individual piece. And I think when you break it down individually, that gives you a good shot at hitting target hours on each thing. Because if you blow the hour, if it's all combined, if you blow the hours on one, but you hit all the others, it still doesn't help you. You need to know where you're missing it.
That's right. That's a good point. Okay. What did you say? Did we get any other questions, actually? Because those were the two questions. Okay, there's one. How much wiggle room do you put in for your hours? From Pearson Solutions here.
Okay, so yeah, you got to have wiggle room. I think a set percentage of what we do for the wiggle room. You never want to go right down to the actual hour on your jobs, especially the hours that we want the guys to hit is always it's always a lower hour amount, because I want to have a buffer or a cushion of hours. You never know what's going to go wrong or what you're going to need. But no, I don't have a set percentage. It's kind of a feeling on each job.
Okay. It's actually something that on our third episode, when we talk about profits, we're going to talk about that with Paver Pete. And he has an approach where he has the 3 Gs, growth. There's only 3 of them. I always forget. Growth, goofs, and shoot. I don't remember. But goofs is one of them. It's written on the John, you want to get the paper off the door?
Yeah, no, but that's.
I got producer John here because I kind of wrote it down.
No, we always try to factor that in, and also on top of that though, we do a lot of change orders. We have some things that protect us as a contractor of some concealed conditions and things that if something happens on a job where you can't predict it or you can't estimate for it, we have some things where we can charge for that, and definitely change orders is something that we've started to use a lot lately too. That saves us too.
Protect both you and the client.
Yep.
The third G was gut, which was what you were saying. When you got that gut feeling, like should go a little bit more.
You got to go with your gut sometimes. You got to.
All right, Dan, you got anything for us? If not, we're gonna move on to Tony.
Yeah. I tell you what you guys are doing to the industry is awesome. I think like I said in the podcast, about every client that we deal with follows you guys on Instagram, and I think that's huge for what you're doing for us as the hardscape contractor community. Your products are easy to sell because the homeowner's already informed. You've basically taken hardscape and you've made it sexy. Patios aren't just patios anymore. They're not this square thing with these Rexton squares that we'd see in the 80s. That shows me how old I am. Okay,
I saw them too. I'm there with you, man.
I'm only 40. I still got a long way to go. But they're not just patios anymore. These are works of art, no matter if it's small or large. I mean, these are you can create the products you guys are putting out there. We can create just a little piece of art, and you guys I keep it up. This is great. I mean, I'm excited to see where this community goes.
Thank you. Well, it'll go as far as you guys want to take it. We're just here facilitating. That's it. It's all you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dan. We'll move on to Tony now. See ya.
Thank you.
All right, let's go find Tony. You're on the interwebs. Where are you? No, that's not how you find him. Come on now. My first time doing, well, I guess technically it's my second time doing a live since I did one before.
What's up?
What are you saying there, Jeff? Instagram's a new Pinterest for outdoor living. Tony,
hey,
the AirPods, what's up?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's life changing.
The AirPods?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's like a week I have them. I can't believe I went this long without them. Well, it's because every phone call we have, I always see you like jogging on your AirPods, and I hear nothing but you. So I'm like, I have to say they should probably send you like a commission or something because you sold these. So.
I wish. I wish. I think Apple's a little big. A
Some
little
of that
too big
Apple.
for Alex from TechnoBlock sponsorship deal. I'm open though if they're listening. All right, Tony. Let's dive into these questions. First question: driveways versus backyards. What's your favorite?
Well, look, I mean, I'm known for driveways that kind of just happen, but you know, a driveway, I really like having fun with them, and I always say you never want to be the neighbor of one of my clients, just because we make sure the worst place to be is right next door to one of our clients, because we really make sure that our driveways stand out. But you definitely are a lot more restricted on a front yard than a backyard. I mean, a backyard, you can, when people tell me like, oh, how much do you think this will cost? Comes down to like a front yard is pretty straightforward, you know, depending on the square footage, unless you have this huge driveway. But a backyard is like, dude, you know, it could be 20K, like it could be 300K. Like you have such a bigger canvas to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. Backyards,
It's
I have to say, are the funner.
Just,
Yeah.
You do a good job with them.
Exactly. I prefer, I could be more creative in backyards, but then again, in a front yard with a smaller space, you could get a bigger impact without investing so much just by playing with pavers and some lighting. You know what I mean?
Cool. All right. Well, just getting some other messages here.
Yeah.
Okay. The sample booklets. These things over here.
Yeah,
the
man.
Luggage that I have here, the books.
Love them.
So the question is, Tony, how much did they pay you to do that video? You can't possibly be using those books.
Okay, guys, I will say this. I know that, I mean, think whatever you want, but there is zero exchange of money between TechnoBlock and Zamco. All right. Everyone knows that I'm like religiously ride or die for TechnoBlock. I'm kind of famously ride or die for TechnoBlock. So yeah, everything that you see, you know, it really comes from the heart. So no, I have not been paid a penny for any of this. Although we should talk about that, Alex. You know, like, after this, like we'll have that. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. No problem. That works. But no, for real, there's no exchange of money. I genuinely do use them. You know, mostly, especially like my brother that handles sales, he uses them all the time. When the clients want to feel the product, because like I said, you don't want to carry around these big bulky blocks. And a lot of times the client's like, oh, I don't know how to look against the masonry of my home. But how many times can you go to a supplier, pick up a sample, leave it in your truck, it gets chipped, it gets damaged, it damages other things. So no, the books are definitely worth the investment. And it's honestly such a small investment because that thing will pay itself off in the first sale that you make with them. So
that's it,
it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I know I was not paid for it.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to get their hands on this, they're $500. If you want to buy it, you can go on technoblock.com/sample-books, or on the event page where you were watching that video. Or if you haven't watched it yet, you can go there. There's a link at the bottom. And you just fill out the form. We're shipping the 2021s out in March. And everyone who has a kit, including you, Tony, in March, or as of March, we're going to start sending update kits to everyone. So everyone who got a kit like this last year, you're going to get a free upgrade this year with the new products, with the new clean block books, the new colors, anything that changed, you're going to get updates for it for free. So we're going to send stuff to you. What was the other thing?
Yeah, and
actually, I saw a question here. Sorry, go Tony. Go.
I know. I think that's actually a big concern that people have, and it's never really been addressed. Is that, I mean, they're like, oh, well, I buy this you know briefcase of books, but you know products keep changing and evolving, and the finishes from just a regular para. How much para has changed so much over the last 5 years? But they're always afraid, like, oh, but is this a constant investment? Which even if it was. Like, who cares? It's again, it's marginal. It's such a tiny investment. But you know,
the way we look at it is, if you invested in us with this, we're prepared to invest back in you to make sure that you're always up to date.
Exactly. And I mean, I remember when this whole book thing was just an idea. Because because like I'm one thing, like I said, I have a very good relationship with the entire Techo Block family. You know, and I've, you know, we bounce a lot of ideas off each other. So like I remember when this was just a concept, these books, and we were talking about them, and I had the opportunity to come in and actually see like the concept books. And I mean, I thought this was a sick idea from the beginning. So yeah, I mean, it's
So you like them?
I love them.
Okay. Okay, so the last question, this one is from Techo Sweetie. He's one of our reps down south. And he's asking, was your business ever volume oriented? If so, what advice do you have for us that are trying to make the transition into selling higher margin, future focused, design oriented jobs?
I have to say my business, the Groupe Zamco, was never volume oriented, not because that wasn't the goal. We just were a lot smaller and we were not fast enough. So I couldn't possibly be volume oriented. I would love to back then, before I went really, you know, design. I would absolutely love to be volume oriented. But now, after what we've built, I couldn't imagine going volume. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not what we want to do. Because we have the opportunity to build, you know, we still build a substantial amount of projects for the how detailed they are and how intricate they are. But for sure, I mean, I love doing this. I'd rather do less awesome projects than more basic projects. But advice, I guess I mean, I said it even in the roundtable, was that you have to really be ready and understand that you're financially stable enough to invest in yourself, because you don't get to just say, hey, I'm a leader in design, jump into it and say, you know, I'm charging this much because I have, you know, I have awesome ideas. You have to invest a lot of money up front to create those ideas, so people could actually trust you with it and give you credibility at the end of the day. But that's the main thing. Invest in yourself to gain credibility with your client, and then that just allows you to be more and more creative, and you could pull away from volume.
Cool. And there's more of this stuff. You're on the Hardscape Growth podcast too. So we have an episode with you coming out. I think it's next week or the week after, but within the next 2-3 weeks, Tony is going to be on the Hardscape Growth podcast as well. Again, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on hardscaper.com. Tony,
man.
Always good talking with you.
Always.
We're going to keep this train moving. We're going to get Sean on, and then we're going to give away a bunch of these prizes.
That's it. All right, man. Thank you for having me.
I'll make sure that you don't win the sample book since you already have one.
Exactly. But no, thanks for everything, man. And honestly, like, keep it up. And you know that I'm here to help in any way, because I think this is it's a movement. And I'm really, really excited to be a part of it. And yeah, let's keep this train rolling. So on to Sean, the superstar, the social media superstar. definitely the best in front of the camera than any of us. But yeah, so thanks a lot, Alex, for your time. And I'm excited to do this again soon.
That's good. We're buying him some time to fix his hair right now.
Yeah, of course. All right, keep in touch. Where's the Fiji bottle? No Fiji today. No Fiji today. Okay, yeah, right. They weren't paying me, so you know. All right.
Ciao.
Take care, man. Ciao.
Okay, and let's go get Sean. Boom, Mr. Premier, Outdoor Living, Instagram sensation, YouTube superstar. He just cracked 80,000 subscribers on YouTube today. He's a baller. Waiting for Sean. There he is.
What is up? How's it going?
Not much. Not much. What?
Nice.
You're on a job site again? Always
What's
grinding?
that?
So you're on a job site again? Always grinding?
I am on the job site. This is kind of my mobile office here. Yeah, I pretty much do everything on site. I'm, you know, set up in my truck. I got my laptop, do designs out here, but I always like to be on site, kind of keep an eye on what's going on, and, you know, jump out there, maybe do a little work. It's a little cold today, so I'm, you know, kind of planned some truck work today.
Perks being All right, first question. question for you, Sean. I started doing this, I think, a couple of years ago. The no-cut patios or the one-cut patios.
Oh, yeah.
As little cuts as possible. What's your approach? How do you do that? Is that just on your end, or? Oh, Sean. I think we're losing Sean here. Yeah, I think we lost Sean. I don't think his truck has Wi-Fi. He's frozen, just like our website was before, when we had a few thousand people jump on all at the same time to check out the Level Up episode 1. By the way, while we're waiting for Sean, hopefully he can come back in here. We gotta try to get Sean back in here. While we try to get Sean get back in here, I want to say, if anyone was getting that 504 error before, yes, thank you. That 504 error, everyone is saying that it's down again. Okay, fantastic. We keep breaking the website. Just hit the refresh. It should be okay. And if it's not, this is available forever now. So you go to the website and you can check that out and watch the episode. I'm going to try calling Sean in here again and see if this is better. Just waiting for him to connect here. Goodness. Request here. Come on. We'll see if we can get him back in here. There he is.
What's going on? Yeah.
All right. Okay, you want to try that again?
My truck must have been.
We got none of that.
Lost. Okay. All right. So maybe I get better service out here outside of my truck. So yeah, it all started out with Antica. Really, we started using that product, and we kind of realized that we could, if we were using that as a border, and a lot of times we'll like to do, a foot and a half of Antica as like an accent band around the outside. You can just kind of start at your center point and have all the products work together, and then just end with a full piece. And then you kind of fill in whether that ends up being 12 inches, 14 inches. You have some buffer there because the Antica will go into really any space that you want. So that's kind of how it all started. And then, just as more products came out that were all, could all work together, we're all modular, like the Blue, the Valet, the Squadra, the Blue Grande. It just was like a cool challenge where we could kind of increase efficiency, but also still design something really cool. So it's just a little bit more planning. A lot more planning initially, but we can actually like draw it out, because a lot of the patios we do aren't huge. We can draw it out like to scale and really plan out every piece. So we did a project last year that was probably like the coolest design in a no-cut patio, and I drew it all out to scale and had the whole thing laid out piece by piece. So it was really easy to do once we got to it because the plan was there. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it started. And then it just became kind of like a cool challenge. Like, how can we use these products, cut as little as possible? I consider a no-cut patio, I'll say you can have one cut per 100 square feet. That's the official definition of a no-cut patio. You're allowed a few. So, yeah. I
on a 500 square foot patio, 5 cuts or less is a no-cut patio, according to Premier Outdoor Living.
Yes.
Official stamp.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, you can get my stamp of approval with fewer than 5 cuts on a 500 square foot patio. But it's honestly really not that hard to do when you're using the products that are meant to be modular together. So if you're doing something that doesn't have curves, you really just plan around the products that you're using, and it's really easy, especially with Antica. If you're going to start doing it and you want to, you know, give it a shot, Antica's super easy. You kind of just pick a center point in your patio and then base it off of that. And then, you know, even if you're off, say, a couple inches on your calculation of, you know, exactly how big the blocks are by the time you get to the end, as long as you start with the layout in the middle, then your accent band is going to be the same all the way around, and you just backfill it in with the Antica, and that could be, it's going to work just as well in a 12-inch accent band as it will in a 14 or 18-inch accent band. So it's really super easy. And one of the things I hate the most is, you know, you lay out a patio and you're so focused on the exact size that it needs to be that you start on one edge, and then at the other edge you end up with like a 1-inch sliver. We always just start on one side and then end on a full paver no matter what. So even if there's cuts, you know, somewhere else, there's never going to be cuts around the perimeter because, you know, we just plan it out that way to kind of stop at the closest full paver.
It's an important detail because otherwise, like, we notice it for sure, right? Like, professionals show up on site, they see it right away. But it's one of those things. I'll take a line like Tony said in the episode. They're like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So even if you're the homeowner, if that little sliver is there and you notice it, you're always going to see it. So absolutely, that's good advice. Like, end on a full paver as often as you can. The question came up. We talked about it with Dan, but you do a lot of this, the multiple thicknesses, and you work on open grade base too. How do you tackle that? Is that really a challenge? A lot of people look at your designs and say like, oh my God, it's way too much time.
It has been, the first time that we did it, we tried it with, I think we were using Blue 80 and Diamond and Industrial. We had 3 different heights. That was kind of silly. But the easiest way to do it really is if you're, say, using, like we did one Everest and Westmount this year. So we used the open graded base, and for our 3/8 chipstone laying bed, we screed that extra thick. So we'll do like a 2-inch setting bed. We found that it really, you know, going to 2 inches instead of 1 inch doesn't create any more settling. It's still really stable.
No, with open graded stone, you're okay. 1 inch or 2 inches is fine.
Yeah. So then we'll lay all of, say, the Everest, and then we'll re-screed that area. It's really easy to screed because it's all the 3/8 chipstone, and then we just lay our pavers in. But also if it's for a patio, like a residential patio, and we just have, you know, not a whole lot of inlay with Westmount or something, we can also cut it on a table saw to 60 mil.
Yeah, that's actually what we did for the upper area on the showcase job.
We did.
We didn't tell people, but that's
the
truth. We laid the whole thing with the hexa, and then we're like, oh, damn, because it was our first time working with Westmount because it was brand new for everyone. Right, it's 80 mil. So we shaved off that 2 centimeters or whatever that is in inches. I don't know. I'm Canadian up here. But we shaved that off, and then we just laid it.
Yeah, that's honestly the best way to do it. That's going to the bathroom.
Of course.
That's the best way to do it. Have an extra thick setting bed because we've done it before. Like the first time that we did it, we didn't really plan it out super well, and then we had, you know, we were trying to re-screed an extra inch out of it, and then you're hitting your 3/4 base, and then it's like it's just a nightmare to get it level. So in that scenario, we actually dug out a little bit of the 3/4 stone, put in more 3/8 stone. But if you just start with a thicker setting bed, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. And for anybody who's not familiar, hasn't worked with open graded base before or synthetic base, we're going to talk about those 2 topics in 2 of the upcoming episodes later on in the series, but also in the interlocking concrete pavement course on hardscaper.com. We do talk about the 3 different base construction methods: dense graded base, open graded base, and synthetic base. So if you do want to learn about that, the course is there. It's free. Go to hardscaper.com and check it out. for real, this is a question. For real, how many hours building jobs versus building content per week?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm on site every day, so just kind of here. Let's see, Pat's in the garage staining right now because it's kind of cold. But yeah, so I'm on site every day. I'd say I'm probably on the tools like 40% of the time, and then I'm just in my truck either editing videos and it's kind of like it's kind of really hard to quantify because it also cuts into our productivity while we're on site because we're kind of like planning out stuff to film, and so it's not only cutting a little bit into our productivity, it's also a whole lot of work once you have that content to sit down and edit it all. So luckily it's something that I think is really fun and I enjoy it. So it's I don't look at it so much like I'm working 15 hours a day. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go home and get to edit some really silly content of me and Pat joking around while we're installing some pavers. So it's hard to quantify, but it's a lot. I get a lot of questions about people trying to jump into more content-based stuff. Just getting more of a presence on, say, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, even those shorter bits of content is a lot easier. Going into YouTube, that's been the hardest thing. Yeah. It's 4 or 5 hours of editing per video. That's really got to be like part of your long-term vision if you want to go down that route, because it's just a ton of work.
Cool. All right, Sean, you got anything you want to add? Now we're gonna do our prizes here.
All right. Yeah. First off, I would like to be entered to win some of those prizes. I could use one of those compactors. That would be great. So if we could rig that up, I won't tell anybody, I promise.
If you watch the episode, you're in, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I had to watch it. I was on site. I was working. I'm going to catch up on it later. I didn't watch it yet.
Maybe we'll win the next prize then.
Just thanks for having me on here. I don't know what made you pick me along with these other people, but hopefully people can get some good insight on, just whatever I said, because I don't even remember. But and thank you for always, like everybody else said, coming out with the new products that just kind of put a challenge out to everybody of who's going to be the first one to use it, to do something cool with the industrial triangle, diamond. It's definitely a risky move because you're kind of setting the trends in the industry, and you're not just looking for what people want currently. You're kind of like making the trends, and that's awesome for me. It just gets me excited about what we do. So keep doing that. Keep spreading the knowledge, teaching everybody. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Tapped out.
That's all.
Yeah. That's it. You got to check the episode.
That's it.
Some really good stuff.
Check the podcast if you want to hear more, Sean. Where we talk about YouTube, we talk about Instagram, we even talk about TikTok because that landed him a $200,000 job. So it's definitely worth checking it out. Again, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on hardscaper.com.
Oh yeah.
Okay, man. All right, I'm gonna let you bounce.
I will wait to hear my name for the compactor. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, guys. So, what are we giving away today? We are giving away the this thing's still plugged in. This one's mine, but the Ox coffee box, which is awesome. It's practically indestructible. It works with K-cups. It's got this giant water tank on the back here. You can make probably a good dozen coffees before you need to refill it. Different sizes. You drop your K-cups in the front. And then this part here folds down. You put your mug. This part here folds down. You put your mug. Push start, and then you make a coffee. So these are worth about $300 if you want to buy them online. We're giving one away today. And I'm just going to check. Everything was picked for me by the team, so I'm just going to look on the list here. Coffee maker winner is Mr. Luke Butcher from R&V Landscape and Construction. So, Luke, congratulations. You're winning that coffee maker, and it's going to be in the mail. should get it in a few days or so. We're going to go to the next prize. The next prize, we're giving 3 of these away. So this sample booklet kit, this luggage here. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Sample luggage here, worth $500. It comes loaded with all of the different sample books that we were just looking at. And like Tony was saying, he uses these all the time, and I don't see why you wouldn't either. You can show the customer exactly what the product looks like, pick out colors, pick out textures, see how things work well together. And we have pretty much 1,000 people that got one last year, and maybe a lot more. And if you did get one, by the way, don't forget, we mentioned this earlier, we're going to be sending you an upgrade kit with all the new products, new technologies, all that stuff. So we're giving 3 of them away. Our 3 lucky winners are, number 1, Gianni Chiazzese from Pavage, Montreal. So Gianni, congratulations. That's number 1. Number 2, Carlos Naula from Ambler Industries, LLC. Carlos, congratulations. The question is, how do you win? If you are watching the episode today at 11 o'clock, you're in the prize draw right now. And we're going to do this every week. So there are 5 more episodes, 5 more weeks. Every Wednesday, we're going to have a new episode. And you watch the episode, you're entered to win. Number 3 is Trevor Grossaint from Icon. So Trevor, you're the 3rd winner to get one of these awesome sample luggages. The 5th winner today gets an amazing prize. This is courtesy of Bartel Global. I don't have it here because they're brand new, launching right now from Bartel Global. It's the Vibratory Roller Compactor. This is fantastic for consolidating joint fill on paver projects and on slab projects when working with larger slabs like Travertina, Aberdeen, Borealis. I know those products with the clean block technology. Those products are larger, and what we're trying to do is consolidate the sand. So vibrating the surface so the sand gets dense in the joints, so you get the maximum interlock and best performance out of the sand and out of the pavement as a whole. Using a plate compactor could damage the slabs. That's why we recommend, if you are using a plate compactor, to use a large sheet of plywood or remnant carpeting and throttle or bring the throttle down a little bit on that plate compactor so it's not hitting as hard. We really just want the vibration to consolidate that sand when working with slabs. You can learn about that in that ICP course on hardscaper.com. The winner of that prize is, from Green with Perfection, Andrew Crapazzano. Congratulations, Andrew. You win the Vibratory Roller Compactor from Bartel Global. We'll be in touch to coordinate all that to get that out to you. And awesome job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on the launch of hardscaper.com. We broke the site a couple times. If you saw that file before and you gave up, come back, hit refresh on the page. You'll be able to watch it. If you weren't able to join us today, the episode is there. You can watch it anytime moving forward. And next week, we will have another episode where we're going to be joined by Mark Levesque from Webrunner Media. We're going to talk about digital marketing for contractors, specifically how to generate the right kinds of leads to grow your business and take it to the next level. You can also check out the podcast, which dropped yesterday, the Hardscape Growth Show, where we interview Mark, and that's a nice preview to what we're going to talk about next week. Until next time, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll see you on hardscaper.com. Have a great day.